Tough. So let me anfangen.
Yeah.
Okay. Jenem noch ein Yom Kippur is ganz stot gewinn auf. That post Yom Kippur, the whole town was up. Choshech is gewinn in Stott, and it was dark in the city, in the town. Mota viele vergessen, reinzuschlagen dem ersten Fleckel Farasuka, wie der Minhag is bei frume Jiden. They even forgot to hammer in the first post for the sukkah, as is the custom among religious Jews. Kaum übergehabt das Herz, hat man sich mit Lanterns und mit langer Drunges weggelost zu der Reblia und gestuckt und genichtert in der Scharschlecke Arum Mil. So lang und so breit, bis Emerson hat sich eingegeben zu verchippen auf welche schwache Sache. Okay.
Schwere, a welche schwere.
Yeah.
Auf welche schwere, ja, auf welche schwere Sache, ja. They hardly they
barely.
hardly even had a bite to eat. And they went with lanterns and with long poles. They they left and went to the dam, and they pushed and they searched in the pond around the mill, which was so long and so broad, until somebody succeeded in snagging a soft, heavy item. Zugeschleppt die Sache zum Brig Hotman. Bei a gelben Schimmer von einer Lanterne, der Sena Stick sieve Bord steckt a Reus von Wasser. Und ein übergelosener Pechner, ein ungeblosener Pechner von einem nassen Kittel. So they dragged this thing to the edge and they saw with the yellow shine of a lantern, and they saw a piece of gray beard sticking out of the water, and the flapping, a pechner is a bladder, a flapping, blowing piece of a wet kittle sticking out of the water. Und es ist mehr keinem nicht geblieben, wie rauszuschleppen der Trockenem, zudecken mit a Leilach und absagen Baruch Dayan Emes. And no one remained behind to drag out the drowned man and to cover him with a sheet and to recite the words Baruch Dayan Emes, which you say when you hear about that someone has died. ist man gekommen zum Rov, Reb Jeschaela, und man hat ihm erzählt, als was ist geschehen und wie so ist es geschehen. And so they arrived at Reb Jeschaela, and they told him everything that had happened and how it had happened. Is Oliver Sholem, blass geworden wie Kalk. And he became as pale as
Lime.
lime, yeah. Halb gechalischter ist geblieben sitzen in sein Vaterstuhl. Half fainting, he remained sitting in his armchair. Und wie nur ist gekommen zu sich, hat gesagt zu seinem Mekuravim Azoi. And as soon as he came to himself, he said to those who were close to him, geht gleich und seid beudig die Jerias von der Sefer Teure, was hat von mir geschrieben. Go immediately and check the sections of the Torah which he has written for me. Is man gekommen zum Sefer in Heiska und man hat beudig gewähnt alle Jerias, was der Unglücklicher hat die letzte Zeit verschrieben mit die Parshas von Chumash Bamidbar. So they went to his little house and they checked all the sections of the Torah which the unfortunate man had the last while written in the sections of the Chumash of Bamidbar. Hat man gefunden, als auf jeder Ort, wo es darf stehen, Gottes Namen, steht gar Lilis oder Samael. Und jeder Eus von die treffenden Namen ist bekrönt mit 13 Goppelen, wie die Oisius Shetnes Rachmana Litzlan. And so when they checked the sections that he'd written, they found that in every place where the name of God should have been was written Lilis or Samuel. And each letter of the impure names of these impure names were crowned with 3-pronged forks, like the letters Shatnez, heaven help us.
So
I'm not.
We talked about Lilith last time, but this is a new Samuel. So what is this? Do we know what that is? I don't know.
Well, Lilith is the female figure, and
Yeah.
Samuel is the embodiment of the Satan.
Ah.
Is it Samuel?
I think Samuel, yes.
Like Shmuel?
Not Shmuel.
No. This is
No,
with
no.
the Samach.
Samach,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, Samuel.
Okay. And I forgot, what does sharpness stand for? I know what it means, but the letters, do you know what?
No, we
what
don't
words
know.
it-
We don't know what the letters stand for, but the shatnez is in the Torah. It says that you may not mix wool and linen.
Yeah.
And so I think the reference is of mixing two things that don't go together, which is God's name in this context and the names of Lilith and Samuel. These are two things that
I see.
don't
And
go
also,
together.
yeah, I see. And it's a desecration
It
of the
is
Torah.
right.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Haben alle die, welche haben die Sefer Teure untersucht, der Schammes, der Scheuchet und alle Kurovim von dem Rov Reb Yishaela, gerissen Kriya, Biskel Hemd, auf eine meure dicke Verschwächung von der Reinigkeit, wie nur a verstorbene Mama Kriya gerissen. So all those who checked the Sefer Torah, the Shamas, the Sheikhet, and all other people who were close to the Rov, Reb Yishaela, they tore their garments because of such a terrible desecration of a Torah scroll, a Reinikat, a Torah scroll. Just as a child would do for a mother who has passed away. Okay.
Okay.
Und zum Morgen Nacht hat sich gezeugen a sumne Levaya von der größer Mil zu Rishkaki, zum jüdischen Besalem. And the next day, before evening, a mournful funeral went from the large mill to Rishkaki to the Jewish cemetery. Shamosim haben nicht geklappt in Pushkes und nicht herausgerufen Tzedokah Tatzil Mimaves. Und chevrische Yesoimim haben nicht ausgesungen. So the Chevra Kadisha assistants didn't bang the arms boxes and didn't call out that tzedakah will save one from death, and the orphans it didn't sing out tzedek lefonav yahalech, that righteousness will go before him. Nor ein Minyan Yidden is noch gegangen mit a abgeloste Kep, and only 1 million of Jews followed the cortege with lowered heads. Azay hat man Shimele dem Seufer begleit zu sein ewigen Ruhm. And that's how they accompanied Shimele, the scribe, to his eternal rest.
Can I just ask another question? It says un chevreshe yesomim. So when yesomim, the orphans, these were like a group that were affiliated with the Chevra Kadisha. This was the part of their part of their job to appear at funerals and do this. The Chevra Yesomim. Do you hear the fireworks? Maybe you can't hear.
I don't hear. I
It's the
don't think.
fireworks from the
Yeah.
celebration.
I I don't know what
don't know,
Yankov.
but-
I don't know what Yankov knows, but
I don't
Yankov
know.
knows. But I think, I guess that it is just a charity organization that is helping orphans. Not
Yeah.
necessarily Chevra Kadisha. It's their job to bury the
Right.
deceased. That's
Mm.
So this is, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's at a normal funeral, you would have beggars, and these Yesoimim are like beggars looking for alms. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. So it's formulaic. I mean, it's the way it's done. At these
Yeah.
funerals.
In the shtetl. I mean, it's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
longer like
yeah.
that, but in the shtetl,
No.
it seems that this is how it was done.
It used to be like that in Israel too. I remember at my father's funeral, they were always walking around asking for nedoves.
Yeah.
You know, one left and the other one came.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. Shall I carry on?
whatever it's between the two of you who's doing how much.
All right, let
All
me
right.
do
I'll read a
another.
little and then maybe we'll go back to, yeah, but why do you exclude yourself?
I'm not. I just
All right.
enjoy listening.
All right.
You have no idea. I
It's a
enjoy
great thing.
to hear how you two are reading and translating and getting
All
into
right.
it.
All right. Let's continue.
Okay.
Alpi din hat man ihm gedarft mikavel sein Leben planken. According to the law, he should have been buried near the near the gates or near the fence.
The
Fence.
fence.
Near the fence. So what does that mean? He should have been buried outside because he had committed suicide? No.
No,
So
but
what does it mean?
it means that he should have been buried at the side of the cemetery near the fence because he had committed suicide.
So this was a specific place that was allocated for this kind of person who had committed suicide.
Well, it's a place which is not it is nit makubed. It's not a sort of honorable place next to the fence at the side of the cemetery.
But it is inside the cemetery. It's
Inside
not
the cemetery, yes.
inside the cemetery.
Yes.
No,
And it's interesting to, I know that in South Africa, they used to do it as well, to bury a suicide at the side next to the fence of the, but unfortunately in recent times, it has become such a common occurrence that people commit suicide that they no longer do it.
Yeah. No. Shaloneda.
Geloneda, yeah.
No, azoi wir seinen gewein Edes, als Schimmele hat warfen sich in Charebela, geschrien Shema Yisrael, hat man angenommen, als fahren teut, hat Chareuter gehabt auf alle seine Seelen und gestorben wie auf Kiddush Hashem. But let me go back to the earlier page, sorry. But because there were witnesses that Shimela, before he threw himself into the dam, he had screamed Shema Yisrael. It was decided as before his death, he had regrets he had cleansed himself. I always think of charoitis as regret. But
Charota is regret.
Regrets
Exactly.
for all of his sins. And he died according to Kiddush Hashem as a, how would you say that? A blessing of God, or
As a martyr.
a martyr, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hot derav zol leben. It's interesting, here they say zol leben, and before they said he was dead. I mean,
Yes.
he was dead, obviously, when this was written, but zol leben, gemacht Pashora und der Leut zu begraben ihm auf a schöneren Ort, 7 allein weit von Planken. So because he had said Shema Yisrael before he drowned himself, and it was decided by the Rav, may he have long life, he gave a compromise.
A compromise. Yeah.
A compromise, permission that he should be buried in a better spot, not near the fence. Zibin, so a certain distance from the fence, a certain measure. In dem selben Kevel, wo Reb Shimele is begraben geworden, hat man euch begraben zu Quora alle nicht Pasula Yerias, was hat schon gehabt, angeschrieben, war Reb Yeshieles Sefer Torah. So in the same burial ground, in the same grave where he was buried, they also buried all the not tainted parchment, the not tainted pieces of Torah that he had written for Rebbe Hashila, that he had written for the Sefer Torah. So buried with him were the worthy parchment papers. Aber die Pasula Yerias mit die mordiker Lästerungen gegen Gott hat Reb Yeshayele geheißen, verbrennen und zerspreiten dem Asch auf dem verschottenen frischen Kevel und auf alle 4 Seiten von Beis Elamin. How do you say that?
Besalem.
Besalem. Okay, but the papers, the parchments, the sections which were tainted, which were not worthy, with their frightening degradation of their frightening declarations against God, Reb Yeshayela said that they should be burnt and spread, and the ashes should be spread over the fresh grave and over the 4 sides of the Bes Oilem. Und a Minyan Yidden haben noch ein umgekommenem gesagt Tehillim ganze 30 Tag, alle Tag noch in Davenen. And a minion of Jews said Tehillim over the perished, the
deceased.
Yeah, I think the deceased, yeah. And I always think it's stronger, like with the Shoah, you say they were umgekommen, the deceased person for 30 days, every day after davening. Noch in Obsitzen Shiva hat der Rav Rev Yeshayela geheißen, wegschicken Zirelin, die Tochter von umgekommen im Sofer, like we could forget her. In a Stadt, wo man kennt sie nicht. So after sitting the Shiva, Reb Yeshayala said, ordered that Tzirila, the daughter of the perished Sofer, should be sent to a town where she was not known, zu weit kroven, to distant relations. Gedei keiner soll auf ihr nicht zeitlen mit de Finger und gedei sie soll keinen Chasana haben in der Fremd. So that she would be sent to this distant place, to this far place, so that nobody would be able to point a finger at her, and that she would be able to get married in the outside world, in der Fremd. Koshere Yiddische Tochter, such a worthy and kosher.
Yeah, come.
Say again.
No. Somebody came. I'm sorry.
Oh, your helper came. Yes, she comes.
Yeah, you know my schedule.
I know. We know already.
Come, Marcel. Come.
Was hat so stark besitzt ihr Kavod und so protected, defended her. Well, we'll get back to it. Gekämpft mit dem bösen Geist, was ist rein in ihr Taten inmitten Yom Kippur. Gekämpft, bis sie ist ihm beigekommen. So this worthy Jewish daughter who so strongly defended her honor and defended herself against her wild, angry spirit that had gone into her father in the middle of Yom Kippur. She struggled and she succeeded in defeating him, in defeating that terrible spirit. And this substantiates what Yankov said last week, that she wasn't actually raped, that she did defend herself in a good time, in a timely way. Und dem Sohn seinem Karpelin, was lernt in der Fremd, in a yeshiva, and his son, Karpelin, who was learning in the outside world in the yeshiva, hat Rav Yishayla gelost arubbringen, Chasene gemacht ihm und gesetzt in sein Tatens Wist geworne Heiske, geheißen ihm äußlehren sich dem Tatens Meloche. So we'll stop there. So, and his son, who was learning in the yeshiva in the distance, shall we say, Rabbi Yeshayla had him brought back, got him married off, and he was to sit in his father's vist, his gloomy. We've seen now two words in this section for gloomy, the Sumna funeral, and this is the gloomy Gevorna Heiske, the gloomy house, and ordered him to learn the father's business. Kasher mezuzahs schreiben, to write kosher mezuzahs. Basim far tefillin machen.
Bosim. That's from Bayit.
To make the little houses for the
boxes.
The boxes. Kedei mitaten zu sein, dem Tatens zindige neshama, in order to repair his father's sinful soul. Verendigen das, was der Tate hat angefangen. He will finish, he will complete, better said, what the Father had started. Men erzählt euch, as this is the end of this section, so I'll just finish this and then we'll go on. Mir erzählt euch, as biskel sein Petira hat der Rav Yeshila gefasst alle Jahrzeit noch in so viel. It is said that until his death, Rabbi Yeshila fasted for the Yahrzeit, to mark the Yahrzeit of the Sofer. A zweiten Taines gepravet zu morgen noch Yom Kippur. And a second fast, I always think of gepravet as to enjoy, but he marked the day after Yom Kippur. So it was Yom Kippur, and then he fasted again after that. Und ständig bedeutet, was hat noch gegeben, Schimmelin der Sofer. Gelosen im nehmen auf sich als harben Neder, wie anschreiben a ganze Sefer Torah, 5 Chomoshim, auf Parmet, on a vibe in Sturb. And he always regretted that he had given Shimala the Sofer, allowed him to take upon himself such a heavy, heavy vow to write the whole Sefer Torah, 5 Chamoshim, on parchment without a wife in the house. Azoyarum hat der Leut zu proben Gott und reinzufallen in Netz von Sotten. Gott soll uns schon Tage allemen Schomel mit Ziel sein von sei Prob. So
I want to say something.
Excuse me. First we translate, then we talk.
I'm sorry. You know what? I am sorry. I am so sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. You don't have to be sorry. Just we'll finish it up because we finished this and it moves into a whole.
Okay, yeah. She's walking up. I'm sorry. She's walking up and down here. And so I get confused, you know.
Oh, your helper. Oh, okay. No, it's all right. You don't have to ask any sort of, from me, not necessary. And let's see, I've lost where I was. That he regretted that he had allowed him, the Sofer, to take such a heavy vow when he didn't have a wife in the house. And he had permitted him to try, proven Gott, to try God. I'd like to just talk about that a little bit after that. To try God. And he fell into the net of the devil. And God should protect everybody and save us from such attempts. So it was too heavy a vow.
Yeah, can I now say something,
please? Please.
I don't want to take up a reading time, but I just want to say that in this the last 2 pages that we read, I see so much social criticism that I think it's mind-boggling. Do you?
Yeah, there's a bitterness in it. For sure, there's a bitterness in it. That
what is it? Okay, so it's a sad situation. Yes, it's gloomy. It's all this. But where is what is he criticizing? This is how I feel now that I'm reading it and rereading it. So maybe this is how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't see it as strong social criticism.
Okay, So it's difficult for me. Okay, Nechama, what do you think? And then I'll
No,
tell you what I
the
think.
time that I felt it was not so much here, but in the earlier section where Rabbi Yeshayla was aware with his piercing eyes that there was a very bad dynamic in the household between the father and daughter, and that he didn't step in at that time to protect the daughter, to take her into the house, to do something to protect her. But on the other hand, that would have been a very dramatic and act on his part to take her away from him. After all, she was the balabusta there.
And perhaps a presumptuous act at that stage.
Exactly. That's right.
Well, I see. Today in the United States, if there is domestic abuse, they call police, and the women have shelters to go to. She went to him. It's not, she went to him, and there's one section where it says that she went to him and complained about her father. She didn't say that he was hitting her.
But she didn't say the whole story. She didn't tell the ganze Meise.
He didn't tell the ganze Meise, but he knew the ganze Meise without her telling. And he didn't
the dork dringenden Eugen. You remember that is such a wonderful expression, his piercing eyes.
Yeah, and he didn't offer real help, and that's the criticism. I'm sorry, Yankev, you know, with all due respect to religious people, there is a criticism, the Sefer Torah and the this and the that, but he didn't provide. He would have helped the two of them. He would have helped the Sefer more if he would have taken the girl to his house for a while, or that he could have done things other than pray, and also pray after the death with all these ceremonies, and also unlike him. You remember that Cyril slept one night at the house of Simcha der Stoliar. So that Simcha, a posheter Mensch, nicht kein Rov, arbeitet mit Holz. He was more charitable to Cyril than the big Rov. And with what Schneur said, I don't know how religious Schneur was, but to me it looks like he is throwing arrows very, very delicately at the big Rov, the big this, and you know, and he's so respectable and so smart, and yet he could have protected this family. No, he could have prevented that suicide. He could have prevented that whole thing, but only after that. Okay, so now he's doing this and the Yerias and the this and this. Yeah, but he's not doing enough, and he didn't do what a community leader should do. That's how I see it. Sorry, Yankev.
Okay.
No, I agree. I mean, at the time that we read it, I said he understood. He was very intuitive, Rabbi Yeshayla. He understood what was going on.
But he didn't do anything. He just told him, "Oh, you have to take a balabosta." That's not it. She came. She told him that the father is yelling at her, and he knew what was going on, and he did nothing.
No. It's hard to swallow it, and it's very bitter, but you know, it's the shtetl was not Fiddler on the Roof, and that's, I mean, so beautiful, and it was a harsh place in a lot of ways, and it was a very the society was extremely it was stratified. You know, it was very organized in a certain way, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but there is a, he's not saying it explicitly. It's very, you know, but it's implicit
It's there.
in
It's there.
it. Yeah, you know, it's amazing to me how he is doing it is amazing to me. How
Yeah.
he writes it.
And the carpenter,
Yeah.
Reb Simcha, the carpenter, he's now there are two times. Remember, he took in the Adam of
Yes.
Herschel or Malamed, and I said it at the time. It's like it's a house of refuge, and I don't know if it will. I haven't read it enough ahead to know whether he'll appear again in that way.
Yeah, and then he was very, very nice to the mamzer.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful
Yeah.
to him. Beautiful. And the mamzer, how he related to him in terms of thinking of him as such a creative human being who created something. Remember at Friday night service, he said, he looks around and he says, he has truly created something.
Yeah. And he was singing also. It's just that he was musical. He was creating his songs. Yeah. It's like the Rabbonim and the Posheter mentioned. This is I don't know.
Yeah, no. So now we're going to go into another section. We have a few more minutes to read. Do we have a few? We have a little bit of koyach. No, but I wanted to say before you came on, is it Rachel or I have a Rachela? How do you pronounce your
My
name?
name Rachel. Call me whatever you want. Rachel.
Rachel. Okay. That here again we have such a very complete description of a home, of a profession, or of a trade in a home. And why Schneer includes this, he does this, he's done it a few times in the novel, and he does it here again when he describes it. And maybe because Yankov suggested it adds a certain realism to the story.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's making us. He's getting us acquainted with life there. Yeah, it's a little bit like you know, Mark Twain. Right? What is the name of the book that he takes a bow? He goes.
Tom Sawyer.
Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn, exactly. Thank you, Yaakov. Exactly, Huckleberry Finn. He goes on the river on the boat, and that's how we get to know the country. You know, but yeah. So yeah, I think about this when I read Chanel. I think about Huckleberry Finn.
It's a nice comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go on.
Okay, Bore die große Augen. Now it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's getting more tragic. Get ready. Yeah. Wenn Moisheke Kives Hodulnik ist alt geworden 8 Jahre, ist geschehen a Sach, was hat später mit Jahren zerrudert sein ganzen Leben, bis es hat ihn umgebracht. Here, there's already a remez here.
There it is.
Here it is. There's already an allusion to what's coming. When Moshe, the son of Kive, became 8 years old, something happened that later on, years later, it mixed up Moshe's entire life until it destroyed him completely. Was mehr hat sich bekannt mit die Schreinim in Zavulek, als Ärger ist ihm geworden die Luft. the more he got acquainted with the neighbors in Zavulek, the more the narrower the air became for him. He could not breathe anymore. The less he could breathe, he felt this limited.
Suffocated.
What did you say?
Suffocated.
Suffocated. That's what I wanted. Thank you. Yeah. Die abgeschlossene Luft zwischen die 8 verschiedene Schränen und zwischen die entotonike Kreuzgärtner hat ihm genommen Sticken. This air, actually suffocating air, maybe, between among the 8 neighbors, the 8 different neighbors, and between the
monotonous.
What did you say?
Monotonous.
Monotonous. Kreuzgärtner, it's the
cabbage patches.
Cabbage gardens.
Yeah, cabbage gardens, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to see Kruv gardens. Kruv is Hebrew. Yeah. Autumn genommen Sticken. It started suffocating him, really. Oder ungeheuren Aroch zu ganven sich von Zavulek auf der Schulgas und als mehr und mehr verlosen dem schmalen Durchgang, was zwischen beide grüne Ganekes. Wigder dem Waldzeugers Ganek und Kive dem Leckermachers. So now he started sneaking out of the neighborhood to the synagogue street, and more he was leaving that narrow pathway that is between the 2 green porches, the porch of Vigder, the forest merchant, and the porch of Kive, the cake baker. After Schulgas, Punkt a gegen Kives Stub, leben kehilischen Brunnen, was beim Levaye des Midrash, und geleuchten mit sein reuer Frischkeit, a neuer Dembener teuer. Okay. So, but on that synagogue street, exactly across from Kiva's house, near the well of the community, that is near what is a Levaye Bes Midrash? There was a special Bet Midrash for Levias.
It's unclear. It's just
okay.
Perhaps
The Bet Midrash where they do maybe where funerals go out from.
Yeah, maybe.
it was perhaps a Tara house.
Yeah,
A place where they prepare the body for burial.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Und geleuchten mit sein reuer Frischkeit ein neuer Dembener teuer. So there was a new gate made of oak that was geleuchten was shining. with its raw freshness. This new oaky gate. Ungewohnt dort intern teuer bore die große Augen. And there lived under that gate.
Behind.
Oh, yeah.
Behind.
Yeah.
I learned that from
absolutely
you.
right.
I learned that from
behind,
you.
Yes. Hinter and yeah, okay, of course, behind, yeah. Behind the gate, bore the big eyes. The wholesale merchant who sold partly I know is hemp and flax is flax. What is flax? I don't know. I don't know what it is in English.
It's linen.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Raw linen.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
It's raw linen. Before
Okay.
it's made into fiber. It's the
Oh, okay. Thank you. Große Augen ist gewesen sein zunehmend, weil sei seine erwachsene zwei Bonnen von der ersten Weib, sei sein Töchter von der zweiten Weib, haben gehabt sehr große, ein bisschen wollte Augen mit großen schwarzen Plänen und mit noch größere Weißlein, hartliche und bläuliche Weiße, wie gekochte Eier.
Ah,
Some description, yeah. So Big Eyes was his
nickname.
so what were you saying?
His nickname.
Yeah, his nickname. Thank you. The English doesn't come to my brain fast enough.
it's very fine. It comes.
Yeah,
very-
well, you know, the Hebrew does. I say, oh, Tsunami, I know what it is, but then the Hebrew word jumped. Kinui in Hebrew.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because why did he get such a nickname? Because he as well as his two grown-up sons from his first wife, and also his daughter from his second wife. This is a big family. They had big eyes with that stand out, with big Schwarzapfel. I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Pupils.
Pupils. Yeah.
Okay, pupils.
The black.
Okay, and also with white, the part of the eye that is white, that were bigger and harder and blue white, like cooked eggs.
Mm-hmm. Can you picture it?
Yeah, yeah. I already had nightmares from them for a while.
Yeah.
This whole family, yeah. Und beschotten seinen Ort die Familienaugen gewinn mit lange, aufgebäckte Säues.
Vias.
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 Oh, sorry, Vies, yeah. Yeah. They were also, it's like they were maybe endowed here, but shortened. Yeah?
Shaded perhaps.
Okay. Yeah, because the shade, yeah. I know when I read, that's what I was thinking, but now that yeah. Shaded. The eyes were shaded with eyelids,
Eyelashes.
eyelashes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Geht imetzer von der Familie a Cook mit die Eugenem geht durch a Frestel, durch ein Rücken von a Plötzlichkeit. If somebody from that family looks with these eyes, you can shudder. It is like there's a shadow that goes through your back from such suddenness. It's a frightening look that they have. They're noch gewohnt men sich zu, and after that, you get used to it.
Mhm.
Sein Hort handelt 4 Bore die große Augen mit der breiten Vernehm. Bore, the big eyes, manages his wholesale business like in a big way. Could that be
Prominently.
prominently?
Prominently.
Okay.
That's how I understand it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very strong character, this man.
Okay.
Mm.
Und die Bonim kaufen auf Flachs und Paklie auf dem Dorf und man schickt das ab mit dem Wasser und mit dem Eisenbahn in Ausland. He and the sons are buying the flax and the hemp in the country, and then they send it through the water and with the train
Mhm.
abroad. Schon in Chodesh Av haben vorn große angepackte Fuhren mit rohe Paklie, was dreißeln sich wie große angeschwollene Lebers und zu welchem man muss breit voneinander öffnen dem Teuer von Häuf. So already in the month of Av, they're starting to travel. Phone is like the vehicles or the carriages. A phone is a carriage that would,
Mhm.
yeah.
They're packed. They're packed.
They're packed with that hemp,
Mhm.
and they shake when they as they are being sent like swollen livers, and because of whom it is necessary to open widely the gate of the place.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
It's interesting that he compares it to livers. Is it because of the shape? I mean, why liver?
Yeah, well, I think that the packages are being transported by carriages.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the
Wagons.
carriages, these are not the carriage, when the boxes, the packages are in the carriages, they shake. That's
Yeah.
how I see it. Okay, so I read enough, right?
I
Yeah,
think
no,
that this is, I think that this is before the hemp and the flax has been processed. It's loose and
yeah,
it shakes as it is transported on the wagons.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but why the comparison with the, like a swollen liver? You know, I could say a swollen belly or a swollen, but a swollen liver. I mean, why? It's just,
Yeah, well, that's the writer's mind, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
It's
All right.
yeah, it's a technical way of expression, you know.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm.
Well, it's also it's startling. It stops you. It's not expected. You don't expect to see that comparison. I don't
Yeah.
expect to see that
Yeah.
comparison. Anyway, I think
it adds to the frightening scene.
well, we know
short,
this is going to be bad. We know it. We know
Yeah.
it.
Okay, should we stop here?
I think we should. We'll start again next week. Mirza Shem. It was wonderful. A wonderful celebration for me. And we'll
What's
start
a
again.
celebration?
Yankov, this is when you're traveling back.